Hello, everyone, and welcome to this VanHack's podcast. My name is Nidia Panizza, and today we have a very special guest with us, Mariana Carvalho. Mariana is a writer, career mentor, co-founder of Brazilians in Tech, which she's will be telling more about Brazilians in Tech soon, and named one of the Latino 30 under 30. So proud of you, Mariana.
Thank
And
you.
she'll be sharing her insights on a topic that it's becoming increasingly important in today's working life, which is burnout. Specifically, we'll be discussing how to overcome burnout as a woman in tech. Mariana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the invite, Nidia VanHack. It's my pleasure to be here. And
Ah,
it's
so
definitely an important topic. So,
yes, very important, very important. Yeah. And to start things off, so can you explain to our listeners what burnout is?
of course, burnout is a feeling of exhaustion. And it's sometimes every person can feel burnout in different way.
Mhm, mhm.
And you just feel tired. You feel sometimes that you don't have any purpose behind the tasks that you are doing day to day. And it can be mixed. Sometimes you're just like, oh, I'm just tired, or like I'm just exhausted because of today something happened. But then when it starts to be very common, and then there's a specific thing that I realized that happened to me, was a identity crisis. So I realized that I was
Wow.
losing a little of like myself in the end of the year, especially when it happened with me. It was
Okay.
very tough to say, okay, Mariana, this is really burnout. You are
Okay.
exhausted because of the day to day, and
Yeah.
then it led to anxiety and some other things. So it's exhaustion about work. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be like that, right? We should be happy, we should be fulfilled. Not every
Totally.
day is going to be the perfect day at work, we know that, but when it
Totally.
starts to be really painful, it's time
Pay
to
attention and
pause
to
and pay
yeah.
attention for
I
sure.
was reading something procrastination as well. Like because
Yeah.
like everyone says that, oh, I cannot finish stuff or I cannot accomplish like my goals or my I don't know. But also it can be related to burnout because like you are so tired that you just can't move forward. And I was reading something this week in the news that it's a very popular newsletter from Brazil that there has been an increase in the number of women holding the highest executive positions according to Fortune 500. And but this progress seems to be at risk due to the growing number of burnout cases among senior level women. And in fact, female leaders have been leaving their jobs at the highest rate in years. And the main reasons why is because little recognition and being overwhelmed with work. Also, read something about a survey with 10,000 full time office workers from different countries, and 46% of women reported work burnout. So, this is a huge number. That's a very important topic. So, you said that you experienced burnout before, and what did you do to overcome it?
My first time experiencing burnout was past December. November, December was when I realized that it was burnout. I brought that
Okay.
to the attention to my manager, and he's my mentor and my sponsor, and I've been working with him since I started at the company, like almost 5 years ago. So
Okay.
he knows my progress. He saw my development in the company throughout my career journey inside the company. And when I brought that to his attention, I told him, I was like, there's some other things that I do in my role that goes beyond just covering those accounts that are
Okay.
related to diversity and inclusion, to supporting and mentoring women in technology inside the company. And
Wow.
I wasn't feeling fulfilled anymore doing those things. And I was like, Bob, that's super strange because I love doing those things. So something's
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
wrong because I'm not motivated. I'm procrastinating. I am not on my best self.
Okay.
And one of the things he told me, he was like, Miranda, that can be very taxing on, especially on in women. um,
Hmm.
you are experiencing this. I, I was already doing therapy. I've been doing therapy for more than
Amazing.
2 years now. But there's at the company we have specialists, we have some therapists that are related to CBTs and other type of therapy. And I was like,
Hmm.
okay, I think I should talk to someone in English to address my career concerns, because the therapy that I do is in Brazil. We meet online, and
Okay.
it's very related to more like personal stuff. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
now I need to really address my work concerns. Seeking another therapist was very important. Understanding what was happening in my body and how I was feeling throughout the week. Really, you really have to pay attention. Otherwise, it's just so easy to get caught in those moments, and you don't realize that it's burnout, and you
Yes.
just move forward. um, so
Yeah.
bringing that to attention to my manager. Of course, not everyone has a good leader. Not everyone is fortunate or lucky to have a leader that supports you, that
Hmm.
understands you. And that's something that the leaders need to work on as well, like
For
how I
sure.
can better support my employees, because that's very important. Otherwise, I would be just
Really.
working more, giving more, and the cup is starting to be very, very empty,
Totally.
and
Yeah.
then we crash. Yeah,
We need to just change the relationship that we have with work.
I
Because I
agree
feel,
totally.
yeah, because I feel like it's 2023. Come on, like
Sure.
we all need, like, from, doesn't matter your position. Like, we all need some, work life balance. We need to, like, to have breaks. We have to go for some self care routine or whatever. So, but
Boundaries is so important too.
very important, yeah.
Mhm.
And you've written an article which is very interesting, and it's already in our blog. Mariana gave us the permission to repost in our blog, so I'll be leaving the link in this episode as well. And I'm curious why women in the technology community may be particularly affected by this issue with burnout.
From my experience and from talking with other mentees and people and my peers at work, not only the company that I work, but in other
Okay.
places,
Hmm.
we are and that's I tell that to my mentees. We go to the field, right? We are there in the arena, like Brené Brown likes to say. Like,
Totally,
you are in the
totally.
arena, you are exposed, you are fighting every single day. You have a different meeting, and you are only seeing men everywhere, right? A lot of
Mhm.
testosterone in the meetings, and then
Mhm.
you feel very isolated. And then you think, okay, I need to give more of myself. And then instead of giving 100%, you're like, I need to prove myself. So instead of working until 5, I'm gonna work until 8 so I can deliver that project
Totally.
tomorrow
Mhm.
better. But the problem is, sometimes taking the break, taking a pause, is the best thing that you can do to yourself. So women, because we feel
Totally.
so isolated in the workplace, we think we need to give more than 100%, 120, 150, and then
Oh
you
my
just
goodness.
cross
Yeah.
the line. And then
Yeah.
you're like, you lose yourself in the middle of that race, and you
Yeah.
forget that there are other women around you that can support you. So something that I say is, yes, you might feel very lonely on those calls, on those meetings, but no, when
Mhm.
you close the laptop, when you hang up the phone, you have a community around you that can help you.
This
But
is
it's
so,
not easy to remember. Like, it takes
I
some
know.
time. It's gonna
I
take
know.
years to reach for someone to really
Totally.
understand that
Totally.
that you have a community of support around you.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I know that you are a self-care advocate, and that you like traveling, and you, like, you said about community. So what kinds of, like, tools, self-care tools, do you recommend to the women in tech community, or women in general?
Of course. And it might sound cliche, but it's cliche because it's true. But I have a dog, and going for walks with him is so, so, so important. At least 3 times a day, you need to have at least 30 minutes of sunlight. You need to sleep well.
Yes.
You need to eat well. You need to exercise at least 30 minutes a day. You need to be moving your body, so you feel, so at least for me, I feel alive. Those are
Yeah.
the things that I do every day. I think if I can spend 35, 40 minutes on my phone just scrolling on social media, why I cannot just go for a walk of 20 minutes with my
Of
dog
course.
just
Yeah.
to decompress and not be looking at screens. Something that I've been doing for the past month and a half. After 9 o'clock, I don't answer my WhatsApp anymore. No WhatsApp. If you want to reach out to me next day, if you need me, you can call me, because there are no boundaries anymore.
There are
No
no
boundaries. We are
boundaries.
24/7, and it's
Yeah.
so unhealthy.
Yeah.
So sleeping well, eating well. I'm 30, right? And more I realize that the days that I take care of myself, no one is gonna take care of myself better than I
No.
take care of
That's something
myself.
that only you can do by, like, for yourself,
Only
right?
exactly,
And
exactly. We
there's
cannot put that pressure either in our partners, in our parents.
yeah.
No one can take care of you
Yeah.
as you can take of yourself. And the company is just like they're providing your salary. You work for them, they pay you,
It's an
you find work.
exchange. It's an
It's an
exchange. There's
exchange.
no, yeah.
It's an exchange. So you gotta
Yeah.
take care of yourself. Separate some time in the morning. You are gonna be a better professional. You're gonna be focused. You're gonna be
Totally.
delivering, but you need
Totally.
the time. And also therapy, right? As you are
I
just
know,
mentioning,
yes, I
so
am
so
super
important.
fan of therapy. I'm
Hmm.
super fan of therapy. So
Me
yeah,
too. Me
I
too.
think it's everyone should
Hmm.
be doing this.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
you said about boundaries, which is like super. I know that it's tricky. As you
Hmm.
said, like WhatsApp and Slack and whatever, like you were being, overwhelmed by lots of information. Everyone can access you basically. So there's any, how do you set boundaries in your, like you said, just said about WhatsApp, but there are other strategies that you can bring to the table and share with our listeners today?
Absolutely. If for some time it was very hard for me to say no at work.
Yeah.
And during some
Same.
time, I was just leaving everything behind. I was like, okay, I have this new role and I need to be 100% focused in just performance, performance, performance. And I left
Mhm.
Woman in Action alone. I left Latino Connection. I left all my passions inside the company by the side. And I was like, no, I cannot do that. I'm passionate about those things.
Sure.
Um,
Hmm.
and having, of course, again, a mentor and a manager that supports you is very important. But
Super.
I started to realize that people are gonna ask you all the time to do things that are not aligned to your values. It's
Yes.
your job to know, okay, who I am, what I value, because every time that you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. I have declined, Nida, so many invites because I'm like, this time I want to be with my partner. This day I'm gonna be traveling. This day I need to take care of my dog. You need to prioritize what is important for you.
This is amazing to hear. Yeah.
And if you don't say that, you are gonna upset people, but it's your job to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
In work is the same thing. There was one time I was talking with an engineer at the company, and he
Hmm.
was like, yes, because one day the customer is gonna trust you so much that they're gonna be calling you at 5 a.m. They're gonna be calling you
Oh
during the
no.
and I was like, that's not what I want for me.
No,
And
not at all.
and the customer knows that. Like when you are work in a very big company, you have other resources, right? You have shifts. You have people that are
Of course.
working different time zones. It's easy to support customers, so it's easier. So you gotta set up your own boundaries at work and with
Totally.
people around you, family,
Yeah.
friends, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you said something that really, really makes, like, I get it, because when you
Mhm.
say yes to someone else, you are saying no sometimes for yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is so problematic, right? Because after a while, you just feel that you don't make space for you, like for
Exactly.
the things that you love. So
Exactly.
yeah. And let me ask you something. We are finishing up things here,
Mhm.
but I feel that we talked about therapy, which is, I love that.
Mhm.
But I know that especially women, we don't make time sometimes for, like, seek for professional help. So what, your suggestion, or what can you share with our listeners about seeking professional help, and to don't feel embarrassed or ashamed about it?
Of course, I think everyone needs to break the concept inside their minds that therapy is you just need to seek therapy when you are when you have a problem or when you're
Mm-hmm.
feeling burnout, right?
Mm-hmm.
What how it happened to me was I was having a career coach professional helping me with some career stuff 3 years ago, and I started realizing that some problems that I was bringing to her, it wasn't related to career, it was more deep. And I was like, okay,
Okay.
maybe it's time for me to seek a therapist. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
the best thing that I could have done, because it's not about the problems that you have in your life, it's more is a self-discovery journey. So
Totally.
don't feel ashamed of seeking a therapist, because you are going to learn so much about
Totally.
yourself. My relationships with my partner, with my friends, with my family, they got so much better because I'm learning how I
Yeah.
deal with emotions, how I
Yes.
can be a better person to the others around me. So if you want to develop those good relationships, d- go to
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah.
See a
Don't feel
professional.
don't feel embarrassed.
It's
It's
not all,
just
no, don't feel embarrassed at all. And
at
I
all.
like that some cultures, some countries, and some people with different backgrounds might be a some people are more hesitant on seeking therapy,
Yeah. Yeah.
but no, it's special
It's
when you take
special.
care of yourself and you just drain
Totally.
your mind with your emotions and your feelings and your
Totally.
thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
our listeners, especially women, need to
Hopefully.
listen to it. Yes.
Mhm.
And tell us about Brazilians in Tech.
Of course, Brazilians in Tech is an organization that I run with two of my friends in Brazil. I mean, in Brazil, but we are everywhere, right? We have
Everywhere.
volunteers everywhere.
Okay.
Brazilians in Tech. We created Brazilians in Tech back in 2019 when myself, Carol, and Anna we met at Grace Hopper conference. Is the largest conference for women in technology in
Wow.
person in Florida, and we're like, okay, we are here, we have those opportunities, we have access to
Mhm.
all these women and this networking and and all those resources, but what about
Mhm.
all the other women in Brazil that don't have access? And
Totally.
we're like, okay, I think it's time for us to put all this together, create a platform and a community for women to really support each other, mentor each other, create projects together, right? Our impact can be very unta- intangible, like not
Yeah.
tangible enough, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because some connections they just ended up happening and we don't know. But we are
Totally.
very happy where we are taking Brazilians in Tech.
Yes.
It's a non-profit, and I
Great.
also invite all the listeners to join Brazilians in Tech, find
Do
all the
it.
women that we have there.
Yeah.
We one of our first partners in one of our technical interviews workshop was VanHack back in.
Yes.
So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to see what VanHack does for engineers and developers in
Yeah.
general, right? But also with a focus in women, because it's so important to bring them together
Totally.
and
Yeah.
really help them with their skills and help them thrive in their career. So
Totally. Thank
yeah.
you so much, Yas. We are a huge fan of Brazilians in Tech. Yes, and
I'm
I know,
glad.
like, we've talking about burnout. Like, burnout is like the main topic here, but like boundaries and self-care and community. And I think like this women in technology can find everything when joining Brazilians in Tech, like this community and the supportive people that, as you said, okay, you are in a meeting and only men, but you can call someone from Brazilians in Tech if
Yes.
you need, right? Like if you need the support. So I think this is so awesome. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much, Mariana, for joining us today and sharing your insights and how to overcome burnout. I know that's not an easy way. Like there are no such a thing as easy when it comes to overcoming this feeling of yeah, I'm not enough. But I feel that talk about it. It's important. It's a start, right?
It is. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Mariana, and I'll see you soon. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
thank you. Bye.